So Dan, we just heard some announcements at CES about some new SideShow devices. Tell us a little bit about SideShow and what its main use is.
So SideShow overall is a platform that's new to Windows Vista, and the goal of it is to allow users to access information on a wide variety of devices connected to the PC. Right? So if your PC is a laptop, when the lid's closed or when it's in a different room, you don't have access to your information immediately. It'd be great if you could access some information such as calendar, your email, the traffic, RSS feeds, sports scores, weather information, without having to necessarily go back to the PC, wait for it to boot up, and then go and get that information.
So these devices, they don't require the PC to be on for them to be used?
They don't require the PC to be on to browse content. They do require the PC to be on in order to get the content to the device in the first place. These devices are all connected to the PC. They don't have external connectivity, so they're not going to update when the PC is not on. But you are able to browse your information, so the static stuff like weather, calendar, email.
Mm-hmm. So what method do they use to connect to the computer?
There's a wide range. So some of these are USB connected, some of them are Bluetooth, some of them are Wi-Fi, some of them are proprietary RF. But we don't really, it doesn't matter to us. Right? The SideShow platform is built in an extensible manner so that the device can be connected by any kind of mechanism or protocol, and it can still be a SideShow device.
And some of the SideShow devices that we're looking at here today, some of them are monochrome, some of them are color screens. What's the spec on that?
Again, we're fully extensible, so we don't have any hard and fast requirements on what exactly is required to build a SideShow device. There are really two categories. The first category are devices that run the Microsoft-provided firmware stack. That firmware stack is based on the .NET Micro Framework, which was originally used in the smartwatches, or the MSN Direct watches, if you're familiar with those. We basically took a platform built on the .NET Micro Framework and built it into a nice SideShow user interface. And we have that support for both laptop devices in a landscape QVGA orientation, as well as a QVGA portrait orientation for some of these remote control applications. But you'll notice a number of these other devices I have a completely different type of display. So this is monochrome and it's rectangular. This one here is a really small display. We have some others with OLED displays. The SideShow platform is extensible so that you can write a driver to make any display show this content. Right? The content's just text and X amount, so it's very easy to display with minimal capabilities.
And all the devices that we're looking at here, this is all new stuff that no one's ever seen. Can you walk us through some of this?
Yeah, let's definitely take a look at some of this stuff. There's probably only one device in this whole bunch that anyone's ever seen before, so we're really excited, and CES is going to be very exciting for those of you who are following SideShow closely. Alright, so the first device I want to show you is probably one that you've seen before in a couple different places. It may look familiar. This is the Asus W5FE, that is the official product name, and this is slightly different from a lot of the other ones you've seen that look like it. So the previous devices were all prototypes. This here is actually a pre-production model, and this will be available when Vista launches at the end of January. The main differences between this device and the larger one, the previous one, is a much larger display. So this has a 2.8-inch QVGA display. That's 320 by 240 pixels. We've also added a few more buttons in here. So we've added a dedicated back button as well as a power button on the device. So in addition to the standard SideShow functionality, such as being able to access your calendar on the lid, or the weather, or sports scores, you can also go in and do playback of music and photos directly on the device. So this device here actually has a gigabyte of flash attached to it, so you can sync a gigabyte of your music and photos using Windows Media Player directly to the device. So when you're on a plane or the bus or you're commuting somewhere or just have some downtime, you can listen to music directly on this device without having to power your entire PC. That's a great benefit of power savings. It means your laptop will last a lot longer and you'll be able to listen to music for a longer period of time. So I can just scroll through here to show you some of the icons. I don't have any real gadgets on here at the moment, but we'll switch over to another device and I'll show you some of what they look like.
So let me ask you a little bit about the gadgets. Are these the same gadgets that we use on the sidebar on Vista?
That's a great question. The short answer is yes and no. The short answer, I guess, or the long answer would be that gadgets for Windows SideShow are separate applications. So they're written specifically to one of two Windows SideShow APIs. We have a native COM API that ships with Windows Vista, and we also have a new managed API, which should be out in beta up on the Microsoft Download Center, and that allows you to build gadgets only for Windows SideShow using either managed code or native code, depending on your preferences. To answer the yes part of the answer earlier, you can write a single gadget in JavaScript that works on both Windows Sidebar and Windows SideShow. And in fact, I have a good example of that here that I can show you. It's our stocks gadget. So what I did is I took the stocks gadget on Windows Sidebar, I added some code to call APIs in the system.gadget.sideshow namespace, and now that same content is being output to the SideShow devices. So it's very easy if you're already writing a sidebar gadget to, with a little bit of additional work, make it also appear on SideShow, and we definitely encourage people who are doing that to look into these APIs.
So if I get a SideShow device, I'll be able to go someplace and download new gadgets for it?
Yeah, so we have a gallery on gallery.live.com where you can go there, click on SideShow, and you'll be able to download and even upload all sorts of SideShow gadgets, both ones that are for Sidebar and SideShow, as well as SideShow specific ones, both from Microsoft as well as third parties.
This is a brand new laptop. I've never seen any pictures of this anywhere before, and it's pretty cool looking. What do we got here?
Yeah, so this laptop is a laptop from LG. It's called the Z1, I believe the Z1-P to be precise. And this is a SideShow enabled laptop, and it's really super cool looking. I don't know if you can get it in the camera shot, but it's got a really nice slick black finish here.
It's like a piano black finish.
Yeah, piano black, is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
That's the lingo. All right. So one of the first things you'll notice about this device is that there are no physical buttons directly on the lid. You'll see there's the faint outline of some lights here. Well, these are actually capacitive touch buttons. So you can go in here and just touch the different area, and it's the same as if you're pressing a physical button. Very, very cool stuff. So let me go ahead and show you some different gadgets that we have. So this device actually has a 2.5-inch display, so it's a little bit smaller, but it's still QVGA resolution. It's running the .NET Micro framework, and this is running hardware by one of our partners, Portal Player. And what that means is that their hardware can actually do the media playback that we talked about earlier with the ASUS. So if we go in here to the media gadget, we can go and actually initiate playback of songs directly on the device. So if PC's off, I can still go playback my music directly through the PC's subsystem. Let's pause that and go back. So this device here, I actually have a few Windows SideShow gadgets running. You have Windows Mail, which ships with Windows Vista. Unfortunately, I have no messages here. And we also have our Windows Media Player gadget. Now the Windows Media Player gadget is separate from the functionality I just showed you. The Windows Media Player gadget is a remote control for Windows Media Player on the PC. So the difference here is the media player on the device plays music that's in the 1 GB of flash on the device. The Media Player gadget from Windows Vista plays any song in your entire Windows Media Player library. The big difference is that the PC has to be turned on in order for that to happen. But if we were to go in here and browse through the media library, you can see, go by artists. Don't have a lot of interesting stuff because that's a brand new machine, but go ahead and play. And with the PC on, we can actually go ahead and control the playback, again, directly from the lid. We can pause. So there you go. So the device that I've got in my hands right now that you're looking at is probably one of the coolest things that I've seen in a long time. So this device is a credit card size companion device. That's what we call it. The credit card, obviously, because it is exactly the size of a credit card and about 8 credit cards thick, so really thin. The companion device, because it is essentially a companion device that you take with you. There we go, no glare. Something that you would take with you on the go. You use it to get access to your information like calendar or email. And you can also play your music, view your photos, and maybe even use it as a VoIP phone. It's got a little earpiece here and a microphone. So this particular device, again, has got a nice QVGA display. It's running the .NET Micro framework. Unlike the ones in the laptops I showed you, this device is actually wireless. It's got a Bluetooth radio, class 1, so you can get up to a 100-foot range when you're in the same area as your PC. Like the LG, this has capacitive touch buttons. Let me unlock the buttons so they actually work. So you can browse through. We've basically got a 5-way D-pad plus a back and a home button. You can go in, browse through your content, get information. You can get alerts. So for example, if you're connected to your PC, you have an instant messenger gadget, you can get alerts in terms of when buddies sign on or when people are trying to reach you. You can get alerts if you're bidding on auctions, for example. All sorts of really cool scenarios with this device. You know, imagine you just sitting on the couch with this device with your desktop in the other room. You're able to get content here. Or if you're on the go, you're traveling, this is your MP3 player, this is your photo device. You don't need a second device. So this is very cool. And it's not hooked up to a PC right now, so I don't have any more gadgets to show, unfortunately. So we'll put that aside and move on over to some similar devices in that they're wireless, but completely different in the fact that they have a completely different set of functionality, different goals. So this device here was made by a company called RecoVision, and the goal is to have a remote control that's Windows SideShow enabled that works with Windows Media Center. So this device is also a Bluetooth device. It has a QVGA display, although this time it's in a portrait orientation. And we have a completely different UI. So you'll notice here as I scroll through all the different gadgets I have, we've got a very different UI look from the horizontal devices.
And that's like a totally new kind of button there too. That's like a rocker switch or something?
Yeah, this is a 5-way rocker switch right here. So it goes up, down, left, right, and you can push it in for enter. Most, if not all, SideShow devices running the .NET Micro framework have at minimum 7 buttons. So you have a 5-way D-pad, up, down, left, right, enter, and a menu button and a back button. And so you'll see on all these devices I show you, there's kind of a SideShow portion up top and then a Media Center portion on the bottom. The SideShow portion containing those 7 buttons. So this device here will allow you to go through and again browse your gadgets such as calendar information, browse your pictures, we've got a game on there, PC status. And we also have specific gadgets for Windows Media Center. So with those Windows Media Center gadgets, you can browse TV Guide directly on the remote control. You can schedule recordings, browse your photo library, your video library. Some really cool stuff. I'll show you a live demo of that in just a sec, but I want to point out one other cool feature of this remote control. We've got a little slide-out keypad here at the bottom. So if you want to punch in channels directly, you don't have to worry about navigating through some guide. You slide this out, punch in the numbers, and on the way you go. So the next remote here I want to talk about is made by a company called Interlink Electronics, and this is their SideLink product. It is a Bluetooth-based Windows SideShow remote control, and it's also a Media Center green button remote control that is using Bluetooth for the Media Center buttons as well. So this device here is actually connected to my laptop, which you can see in the background. And I have a beta version of some of our Media Center gadgets on the remote control. So with the Media Center gadgets, you can actually get information such as what's currently playing. You can browse your music, your video libraries, your photo libraries. You can also browse TV Guide. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a TV tuner here, so I can't do that. But let's go ahead and put on some music and go through the music library. It's very similar to our other media player gadget, but it's specific for the Media Center experience and the Media Center library. So we'll go ahead and put on some music. And we'll play this. So you'll notice that I can preview the information on the remote control before actually going ahead and having it occur on the Media Center PC. So
is that album art on the
yeah,
remote?
so we get album art on the remote as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is really handy if you want to select tracks and queue them up for a party, for example, without even turning on the TV. Or for, if you want to do TV Guide stuff, you can do it without interrupting whatever people are currently watching. So we've got our music here. Turn that down a little bit. So while we're listening to music, let's go ahead and pick some photos to view as well. So using the photo viewer gadget, yeah, we can just mute that. And I can go here, browse either by date or by folder. And we'll go ahead and browse by date. And how about, let's pick something recent.
Go and hold it up for me.
August.
Okay.
Sorry. So I have a picture here. I can preview the pictures on the remote control. And if I like it, if I want to show it to my friends or my family members, I can actually go click and have it appear on the Media Center TV as well. So here it comes. Right, it's coming. There it is. It took a minute to come up, but you can see we have the picture there, and with the Media Center buttons I can actually go and do the remote control. And you know what, I didn't pair this button, so that's not going to work at the moment. So in addition to that, we also have now playing information, so we can get information on currently playing music and videos. And here's an example of the stocks gadget. So we talked earlier about a gadget that works both on Windows Sidebar and on Windows SideShow. So the stocks gadget here allows you to get information on stocks that you choose, and you have that same list of stocks on your desktop and on your devices. So I can go and get some info on Microsoft stock. Looks like it's down about 1% today, but unfortunately everything's down, so I guess that's to be expected. We also have calendar information as well as any other gadget you want. The user has ultimate control over what gadgets appear on their device. They do that through the Windows SideShow control panel. So I can show you quickly. Let me put the remote down and go back to the Windows SideShow control panel. So the control panel here is where the user configures all the gadgets on their different SideShow devices. And they can do any number of configurations. So each gadget can be configured on a per device basis. It's simply a matter of checking the checkbox at each intersection of gadget and device that you want it to appear on. So I've got a bunch of devices here, and a good mix of where the gadgets are appearing. Alright. So shall we move on over to another remote control? This one's going to look a lot different from the ones I've just shown you. This is a device made by Philips. It's the SRM 7500. And this is actually a remote control that they built knowing absolutely nothing about Windows SideShow. It's an RF connected remote control, so it uses a proprietary RF radio. Here's the little dongle connected to my laptop. And it's got a small monochrome display. And what they do is they have a media control software that allows you to essentially browse your media library and control music playback from the remote control via RF. Now what we've gone and worked with them to do is to SideShow enable this little display. So I've got the stocks information right here on the LCD. So this is coming again from Windows SideShow, and you can see the stock information scrolling by. I can browse through. I have my media player gadgets, so I can get information on what's currently playing. I've got my Windows Mail gadget, so I can get information on my emails. I have calendar gadgets. You can have RSS and news feeds, any kind of stuff. It's all available on here. Now the experience isn't as rich as it is on a device like this. All right, there's obviously a big contrast, but in terms of price, in terms of performance, you know, this is going to be a little bit cheaper, but it'll still give you that same exact information. So it's a very cool device, and this will have SideShow support. It's not confirmed. This is just a prototype at the moment. So many of you have probably seen the Logitech G15 keyboard that we've been showing for a while. It's a Logitech keyboard that has a small LCD display in the little fold-out area. It's a monochrome display. It displays bitmaps. And what we did is we actually went and did a prototype driver that talked to Logitech's SDK and allowed you to get SideShow information directly on that keyboard. Now they've got another product here. These are the Z10 speakers. There's a second one. It's over there hidden. But the Z10 speaker has a very similar display to the G15 keyboard. You can see here we've got nice capacitive touch buttons. And again, using our same SideShow prototype driver, we can actually get this content here and browse it directly on our speakers. Let me scroll up. So here's a stock information. You can here get media playback information. And again, because this has HID buttons directly on the speaker, we can actually control the playback directly from here. So let me turn up the volume. So play, state, pause, and you can see how SideShow updates that information instantaneously. Let's scroll through some other gadgets here. So I've got my calendar. You can browse through your calendar appointments. You can browse through emails. I don't have the RSS gadget installed, but if it were, you could browse through news headlines as well. Again, any gadget that works with Windows SideShow will work with these devices. So this is very cool, and Logitech is announcing that they're going to support SideShow officially on both the Z10 and the G15 sometime in the second quarter of 2007.
right, so where can people find out more about SideShow devices?
There are a number of different places where you can go and get information on SideShow today. The first one is going to be the Windows Vista site on Microsoft.com. So if you go there and you find the SideShow feature, we'll have some information about devices up there. Another great resource is the Windows SideShow Gallery on gallery.live.com. So that's the place you want to go if you want to find gadgets to download to use with your devices. If you're interested in building gadgets or devices, you want to look at the Windows SDK or the Windows Driver Kit. Both of those are available up on MSDN. And finally, we have a nice community site that a third party has started called SideshowDevices.com. So feel free to go check out their blog for information. And also, actually, I maintain the team blog for Windows SideShow, which is at blogs.msdn.com/sideshow. So go check out that for official information, and feel free to check out SideShow Devices for amalgamation of information from all sorts of places on the web.
Great, and tell me who you are and what you do here.
Yeah, so my name is Dan Polivy, and I am a program manager on Windows SideShow. Formerly, I was a developer on Windows SideShow, so I designed and implemented most of this stuff.
Great.
So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.